You get me, got you. You get me, feel it, you get me, got you. You get me, feel it, you get me, got you. You get me.
Hello, nice to be with you. Thank you for joining us. We are talking politics and religion without killing each other. I'm your host, Corey Nathan, and it is an honor to be a part of the Democracy Group. That's a network of podcasts that examines what's broken in our democracy and how we can work together to fix it. And hey, listen, I got my hat on. It's October. Hockey season started a couple nights ago. Granted, the Rangers laid an egg. Very uninspiring performance, but I'm still hopeful. I love my Rangers, and it's just the beginning of the season. Got a new coach. There were some positive signs, so I see green shoots. I'm hopeful that we will win a game sometime this season. Anyway, I'm actually wearing. Wait, I think yeah. This is actually my Kings hat, L.A. Kings, because you know what? This might sound like very, I don't know, some folks might kick me out of the official New York sports club, fan club, whatever. But I actually root for the Kings. When they're not playing the Rangers, I root for the Kings. They've always been a gritty team consistently over the years since I've lived on this coast. So my Western Conference team, I love rooting for the Kings, but not when they're playing my Rangers. So anyway, that aside, let's get right to it. Almost every day, I find myself in a conversation, whether it's over lunch, at a local coffee shop or a pub, or just with a connection online, that challenges my patience and even my sense of peace. And you might say, wow, you're a grown ass man and you allow people to get to you that way. Yeah, I admit it. This stuff gets to me. Politics and religion are important to me. I have these big questions I've always grappled with. Even going back to when I was a little boy, how can we live well together? How can we understand each other? How can we work through our differences without wanting to do damage to each other? And then the big existential questions, meaning of life questions. But in recent days, there have been a few different conversations that put me on the receiving end of some pretty pointed attacks. And some of them weren't just points of difference or mere critiques. They were rhetorical strikes with a clear intent to be hurtful. And like I said, sometimes I admit it, it gets under my skin. So something that's interesting to note is that within the span of a few hours, these sorts of bombardments, they came from people who actually fall on exact opposite sides of certain issues. So specifically, one dude who is essentially sympathetic with the causes of groups like Hamas and Hezbollah went on a rampage over the course of several days. Now, he might not put it that way in terms of what his views are, but when you deploy language that's very popular, in vogue, like referring to the war in Israel as genocide, or you frame it in a big oppressor versus the oppressed type of language, and then allow lines to blur between that and slogans like from the river to the sea, that is essentially where your position stands. So his message, there were 3 or 4 times when he stuck the landing by essentially saying, white people suck. That's essentially what he said. White people suck. Am I right? He did it with a meme one time. He did it with a stupid joke. But that's essentially what he's saying. And by white people, he meant Jews. There's no two ways about it. I described last week why that is a sore topic. We could get into that in greater depth in another episode. But I'll just say, when Jewish people are being identified by others being racially profiled by others, historically, it's bad news for us. So that's why there's a special sensitivity. Whether you're identifying us as white, that's historically inaccurate, or whether you're identifying racially as non-white, one way or the other, either way, it's bad news for Jews. It's bad news for us. So, but like I said, that's a different topic. We could go into greater depth in another episode about that. But there's a particular sensitivity. That's what I'm saying. So this fella took a particular position and he was going on the attack in unproductive ways. But then in the last couple of days, a couple fellas on the exact opposite side of that issue have resorted to mocking and patronizing and name calling, essentially because I had the gall to say that Benjamin Netanyahu is not entirely blameless, that he's not above reproach in the way he's executed the war. The fact that I'm not 100% blindly deferential to anything and everything our side does, in these guys' eyes, that means I'm essentially the terrorist. That we shouldn't think critically, that we shouldn't think ethically or morally, that if I do, then I am essentially part of the terrorist, that I am part of the problem. So one thing I realize when I'm thinking in the bigger picture is that some of these folks that I interact with air it out with me because no one else will give them the time of day. At least no one who veers from their particular orthodoxy. I mean, if we're being honest, many people stay very strictly within their own bubbles and only talk to people who entirely agree with them. And it's a confirmation bias loop. So I realize that. I realize that there are a lot of us who are within loops like that or bubbles like that who've actually been cut off from their own family over these sorts of things. So it's natural that if someone like me gives them the respect of listening to them and taking them seriously, they probably have a lot in their mind. It's, they got a lot of buildup. There's a lot they want to get off their chest. And I mean, that's what I'm here for. But I got to admit, it wears me the hell down. It really does. So this all got me thinking again, how can we go about this better? And I realize when I ask that, some folks might say, you've been doing this podcast, about this very thing for 5 years and you're still not good at it. You still haven't figured it out. And the short answer is no, I haven't figured it out. I am sharing publicly what I'm learning along the way, and I haven't figured it out. I'm not good at it. I do have a thin skin still, despite all of the work that I'm doing to try to become more resilient and more thick-skinned. At the end of the day, I'm a pretty sensitive guy, and it gets to me. So there you have it. I've rolled out, for those of you who want to, get at me, there you go. I'm pretty thin-skinned, and a lot of times people who want to get at me can, really do have an effect. Not in a positive way, but there you have it. I've opened the door to certain attacks for those who want to go about these things in that way. Regardless, I will still do my best to take people as individuals, to see their humanity, to take them seriously, to try to hear them and understand them, regardless of how how folks treat me. And that's part of what I wanted to talk about. So what I have today, it's just a few thoughts, 5 in particular. Some of it we've talked about before, but it's always good to go back to basics. I was thinking of musicians, virtuosos. They still play their scales. Not that I'm a virtuoso at this stuff, far from it. But here are some scales, if you will, or some takeaways that I want to remind. It's more for me, if anything, and maybe it'll be helpful for other folks too. 1, practice what I preach. As I'm asking others to hear me, to give me the time of day, to understand what my individual perspective is on any given issue, I need to do that. I need to do that for others. I need to hear their perspective, see them as individual human beings, and really understand their unique perspectives and where it's coming from and hear their stories. So despite the fact that I was upset by some of these exchanges, I was able to see, to better understand somebody's personal and family background. So there were some points of understanding, if not agreement, but I need to, all of this stuff, I need to start by doing it myself, if I'm asking it of others or encouraging others to embrace these habits, I need to do it myself. So that's 1, practice what I preach. 2, contest or conversation. We each need to decide, are you there to be contentious, to win some sort of a contest, or are you there for a conversation? Now, you can be contentious within a conversation, but it's not necessarily the same thing. I embrace conversation. Yes, there are points of disagreement. It doesn't all have to be holding hands, kumbaya. It doesn't have to be all in agreement. No, we're all different individual human beings. So there's definitely going to be disagreement. It doesn't have to be that. But you don't have to come in assuming that this is a contest and I need to win and I need to score points and that's what it's all about. So I am always asking, is our posture toward each other one of contentiousness? Is this a contest? And am I falling into that trap? Or are we more mature and able to have a conversation? I want conversations. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be put under a spotlight. I don't want to be, I don't want to be, I don't want to be put through the rigor of someone else's, standards. I just want to see a human being and connect with a human being and have a conversation and find points of difference, but understand points of difference because maybe it'll make sense to me and maybe it will resonate with me. Maybe it's a way that I haven't thought about before. So here's the thing. When I recognize that someone is here only for the contest and only to score points, I got to cut it off. I'm not interested. But what I do want to do is when somebody has even an inkling of a sense of wanting to be heard and wanting to be seen as a human being, I want to foster that conversation. So that's 2, contest or conversation. I'm cutting off contests and I'm fostering conversations. 3, articulate others' views well. Now, I don't always do this well myself, but I'm trying. I'm developing that skill. It's like a muscle that you got to exercise again and again and again. And here's the thing. It's lazy, it's dishonest, and it's indulgent to misconstrue others' views for the purposes of your contest. Someone can lay out their detailed, nuanced perspective, and then when you tell them what they are thinking or what their position is or what that means they are based on what they just told you, like I said, it's dishonest. It's lazy, it's indulgent, it's unnecessarily contentious. So do yourself a favor, do the other person a favor, do the freaking world a favor, and hear someone and try to articulate their actual view. That takes integrity. That takes intelligence. That takes creativity even, to be able to see a human being. And even if you still disagree with all of it, that's okay. Continue disagreeing with all of it. But you don't even know if you disagree with it if you can't articulate what the person actually just said. The fact that I have concerns, deep reservations about the ethics of the way Benjamin Netanyahu has conducted this war, has executed this war, does not mean that I'm a terrorist. Does not mean that I sympathize with Hamas. It means that I have ethics. It means that I don't assume that just because I was born into a Jewish family and he was born into a Jewish family that I support Israel's right to exist. It doesn't mean that everything he does is good. It doesn't mean that he shouldn't be questioned. 70% of the population of Israel is rightfully questioning some of the ways that he's going about this war. Rightfully. Gaza currently has the highest concentration of children who are amputees. One cannot deny that there's mass starvation. One cannot deny that there have been tens of thousands of civilian deaths. The fact that we point that out does not mean that we're apostates, does not mean that we're the enemy. It means that we are Jews. It means that we're human beings. It means that we take our Torah seriously. It means that we take our role in history very seriously. That's what that means. It doesn't mean that we're the enemy. We're supposed to question our leaders. They need to have people pushing back. Our leaders need to have people pushing back. How can they think ethically? How can they think morally? How can they think independently without, if all they're surrounded by are people, yes, let's do that. That's not right. So that's an example of this instance. But I'm asking, and I'm going to try to articulate others' views well. When there's nuance, it takes a little bit more effort. Exert the effort. Do it. Articulate others' views well. treat individuals as such, individuals, not as proxies for a side. I can't tell you, talk about things that get under my skin. Do some nut picking. Go find some wacko who did something stupid somewhere in the world and identify them with the other side, and then, present it to me as if I have to account for it. As if that's my position. As if somebody somewhere who did something stupid represents my views that you somehow, think that I'm aligned with. No, treat people as individuals, not proxies for some side. And be curious. Take time. Take a step back. I'm going to take my own advice. Take a breath. Take a step back. Be curious. Ask people about themselves, about their stories, about their views. That doesn't make sense. It's not lining up for me. Maybe I'm missing something. Can you explain that some more to me? Oh, that's interesting. When did you learn about that? Was that something that you've come across in recent years? Or ask questions, be curious. People want to be seen and heard. And when you ask questions, sometimes the question allows that person to question their own assumptions. But more often than not, a genuine question, the question coming out of curiosity, not out of interrogation. I'm not talking about interrogation. I'm talking about genuine curiosity. The person feels seen and heard. And I can't tell you how good that feels to be seen and heard as an individual. So articulate others' views well. That's 3. Number 4, sometimes take it offline. Instead of, in front of, 2 or 3 other people, you at a coffee shop where some people can overhear you, at a bar, or on one of these threads on Facebook or other social media sites. Sometimes it's better to take it offline. I can't tell you how many times, just in the last week, I've said, hey, you want to go grab a beer? You want to go, let me buy you lunch. Or I just hit them up on instant message, like direct message. Take it offline. Sometimes it's better to go one-on-one. A lot of times it's better to go one-on-one. That way it's not performative. It's not, I don't know. We sometimes a lot of us act differently when we think folks are just audience that are watching this contest, this ping pong match. And again, I'm not interested in the contest. I'm not interested in the ping pong. I'm not interested in scoring a point. But I get it. That's the mindset of a lot of people, and they're putting on a performance. So take it offline, connect with somebody individually, one-on-one, whether that's a direct message or take them out in real life, in person if you can. So that's 4, take it offline. And 5 is, I've said this before, and my brother reminded me of this just a couple days ago. Not everybody deserves your time. Know when to walk away. There are certain people who are just not within my realm of being able to connect with, and that's okay. I'm just one person. I've said this too before, that there are 2 things that I believe that are more empirically verifiable to me that's not empirically verifiable to anybody else. Those 2 things are, there is a God and I ain't God. So even if you don't believe in number 1, maybe we can both agree on number 2, that I ain't God. All right. I believe that more than anything else in the universe, that I am not God. So I am not able, therefore, to connect with every other human being. So there are some people who are just beyond me. I can't do it. They get all the negative from me, and they, instigate all the negative in me. There's nothing good that's going to come out of our contact, at least not now. Right. So know when to walk away. And frankly, some people just show their ass. I've used that expression before. Some people just show their ass, and therefore they don't deserve my time. They don't deserve my time. Especially when I put myself out there, I've made myself vulnerable to them. I've been authentic and candid with them. I've tried to be personal and honest and sincere, and they walk all over me. And what do they reveal? They reveal they don't deserve my time. So sometimes I just got to walk away. So those are just a few of the things that I've been thinking about. Again, start with practicing what I preach. So all of these things, I'm working out. I'm exercising. I'm building those muscles. Practice what I preach. Contest or conversation, I'm cutting off contests and I'm fostering conversations. Articulate others' views well. It's lazy, dishonest, and indulgent to misconstrue others' views. So treat other individuals as such, individuals, not proxies for some side. Be curious. People want to be seen and heard. So articulate others' views well. Sometimes a lot of times it's good to take it offline. It's better to go one-on-one. And then also, like I said, know when to walk away. Not everybody deserves your time. So that's what I got today. We'll leave it there. I'd love to hear what you think. We're really easy to get a hold of. We're on all the socials at Corey S. Nathan, at Corey S. as in Sam, especially on Substack. I'm publishing some articles. That's what some folks have been responding to and what I'm processing. They're good conversations for the most part, especially on Substack. So I'd really encourage you to go there. You'd be doing me a favor. You'd be doing these conversations a favor. If you want to be talking about politics and religion in healthier ways, like I do, and again, I am not the shining example. I'm in this. I'm trying to get better at it. But if you're interested in that too, please go to the Substack, subscribe to the Substack at Corey S. Nathan, at Corey S as Sam, Nathan. All the socials are that, not just Substack. And YouTube, we're doing the videos. If you're not already subscriber there, please do. It's youtube.com/@politicsandreligion. That's youtube.com/@politicsandreligion. We have all the links in the show notes. Your support really does make a difference. The reviews, the comments, the engagement, it really does. It really means a lot, not just to me, but to a lot of other folks who are being edified by all this. So thank you for all of it. Now go talk some politics and religion with gentleness and respect and a sense of peace. I got to get some peace, man. I got to do some more meditation. And have a great week.